So when did you decide you wanted to go into the world of coaching and specifically have that emphasis on executive and leadership coaching? What were some of the things that led you up to that point where you were saying, this is what I want to do? And did you realize that, or were people saying to you, you'd be great as a coach because you're constantly coaching people all day long anyway?
In 2008, I had a whistleblowing experience, dramatic. Okay, my life was endangered. And my mentor at the time, Professor Jill Marcus, who was, at the time she was at the business school, but she ended up being the governor of the central bank, so, you know, arguably more powerful than the president. She said to me when I exited, and I had to literally be underground for 3 months with a bodyguard, and I said to her, now what? And she said to me, Tina, you've got a coach. And I said to her, no way. Every second person is a coach. I'm not doing that.
It's like the thing to be, right? Yeah.
And she said, Tina, just do it the right way, get qualified, get accreditation, get the global accreditation with the ICF.
Which is important.
You have so much to share. And she was saying that on the strength of having watched me be a CEO, for 2 full years in a national organization.
Let's talk about your style of coaching, executive and then leadership as well. How do you describe your particular style? There are other executive and leadership coaches out there, but everybody has their own approach, their own perspective, their own life's journey that they bring to it, their own personality. For you, how would you describe some of your approach and the uniqueness of the way you approach it?
Right. So I'm what they call a blended coach.
Right.
Okay, so I do pure coaching, I do consulting, and I do actual advising. So pure coaching doesn't allow the coach to give advice. But I felt, and I was thrilled that the ICF allowed this, I felt that why should my client not benefit from some of the situations I've been in?
Right.
I wanted to share, if it was appropriate, of course, and I always ask my client, may I offer something? And, when they've never said no, and then I'll share, and often it fast tracks the client, instead of them having to search through powerful questions to get to their answers.
What would be some of those characteristics, those things about you that allow people to be able to get to that point in their lives? Is it you provide a safe zone for them, you're non-judgmental, you develop and establish trust with them with you in the beginning that allow them to open up because they may share things with you that they never share with anybody? What are some of those variables?
So critical, everything that you've said, and developing that trust is key. But I think that, my general grounding, if you will, as a child in South Africa, where we have Ubuntu, okay? Ubuntu is a beautiful word, and of course it's throughout the continent of Africa, but in South Africa it means I am because we are. So it's a very inclusive way of life, again, humanity. And then the philotimo, which I mentioned earlier from the Greek, also, honoring human beings.
So combining
and their uniqueness. And so, and over and above all of that, I'm an empath.
Yes.
And so I feel strongly, and I also believe it's a calling. As I mentioned earlier, I am a person of faith. I'm a believer.
Right.
And I feel that that's my calling, is to actually support other people. So even my leadership style, I'm a servant leader.